Good evening, guys. So, first one back in 2 weeks. Let's get Jason Danny on and let's get ready to rock and roll. So, we're talking nutrition tonight. Jace and Danny. Hopefully, they can all get on. Big dog, what's happening?
Hi, mate.
I'm alright, pal.
But yeah.
Oh, the actual big dog as well.
Stop here today. Hey, mate. Hello.
Oh,
You want to talk nutrition?
that's the smoothest we've ever got onto a live, boys.
I know.
Maybe we should have a week off every now and again. It'd be easier.
First for any, isn't it?
I even changed where I am in the house, hopefully to get a better signal. So,
Hang on, let me
We've
just...
all moved spaces.
yeah. What dog you got, by the way?
What was that, sorry, mate?
What dog have you got?
I've got a red Labrador.
Okay. I've got 2 Hungarian Bishops look the same, actually.
Yeah. Well, every day, at least once a day. Is that Vista? No, he's a red lab. Come here, mate. Let me go. Come see him.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, Pooh.
I've locked mine out.
He's,
Yeah, but you got 2, mate. They're just going to be like all over you, aren't they?
They're incredible.
He's been in the wars recently. He was attacked not long ago. So he's now got half an ear.
Oh.
Hey, mate. Hey, I know.
Incredible.
Go and get it then. Go. Wait.
Right, boys. Well, nutrition tonight, aren't we?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think you've got some questions, Jason, and you've got some, Danny. So let's rock and roll. Let's get stuck straight in.
Okay, so my question to your questions, really. So, do you want to lead the first question and we'll work on that?
Yeah. Except they're on my phone.
Well, I wrote it down here, so there we go.
You go for it.
So, one question from Jason was, what is the role of a calorie deficit in fat loss, and how can I create a sustainable and effective deficit?
Good question.
It's a really good question. Nate, you gonna go for it?
I think establishing where you should be at maintenance first is key. And I think sometimes what a lot of guys will do is they'll jump straight into, right, well, this is what the calorie calculator says. This is what you should be at. Let's whip 500 calories out, and go from there. Realistically, we need to establish what your day-to-day maintenance is, because just because that calorie calculator has said you need this amount of calories, call it 2,000, to then bring you down to a 1,500 calorie deficit is unrealistic. Unless you are a very small human being, it's unrealistic. So setting up the maintenance phase first, before then chipping away, finding out what's actually maintenance for you and your week-to-week lifestyle, I think that's key, especially for Gen Pop. If you were doing a prep, then it's probably a little less important, because you'll have probably reversed out of a previous diet. We've built you up into a massing phase. We'd probably hit a maintenance phase and then would go in. But if you were a new client coming in, we'd need to establish that maintenance calorie amount first, stabilize the body, and then slowly bring the calorie deficit down as activity goes up.
And you find quite a lot of clients, I find this, that when you start to set maintenance, they lose weight anyway because they weren't on maintenance. So it's a win-win in both scenarios, because you know where to go to. And also, then once you've found that maintenance stage, when you have, let's go back off weeks and deload weeks and so forth, you know where to sit back into. So
yeah, exactly. And I think
it's so important, isn't it? So important.
Yeah, and I think one of the things is, as soon as we say, right, we'll establish a maintenance phase to then move into a fat loss phase, the natural activity level increases anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, this is in prep for a fat loss phase, so I'm going to start doing a little bit more. I'll clean my diet up. That 80-20 starts becoming sort of 90 and 10, between the clean and naughty foods that they have been having.
Yeah, totally agree.
Well,
Are you tap dancer there?
I'm actually going to shut him up saying, hang on.
Amazing. No, but I think that's a good baseline starting point, isn't it? And I'll from my experience, I've been a number of coaches in the past. I've been coached myself, and when they just throw you an aggressive number to start with, sometimes you go, "Wow, like where's that come from?" And I think there's a lot of genericness, isn't there, behind like fat loss or weight loss. And again, I saw some posts in our group the other day. If we're doing it correctly, and if we're a good coach, we'll start to understand the client more at the start and understand where their parameters are and what they can and can't do based on going, hey, about 12,000 calorie diet. Off we go. Like, fucking hell. Okay.
Yeah. I think I've said that a couple of times on here. It's like calories and sleep are your biggest factor for recovery, for muscle growth, for fat loss. And you know, a lot of people just accept or like take it as gospel. Okay, let's just drop to 800 calories a day. But if I was to tell you, let's just do 2 hours of sleep a day, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
It's just a different aspect of it. It's the same thing. You wouldn't really. You'd be like, no. Like, I work on 7-8 hours. Like I'm not going to manage 2. Oh.
So effectiveness then, boys, you're saying that finding a maintenance space to start with and then being effective and sustainable would be then, I call sustainable like knowing where to have the back of weeks, knowing not to diet constantly for, again, if it's a photo shoot differently, but if you're looking at a client who's your program, for the first 13, 14 weeks, you found maintenance, you found a little bit of a deficit, and there's not much more movement there really, I find.
No, realistically, I mean, if you hit maintenance and push performance in the gym anyway, you'll start to chip away at body fat levels and we'll start to recomp as well, because even if you pull 100, 200 calories, you've still got enough energy, because if they do have body fat on the body, they're carrying around a load of energy anyway. So you've still got enough fuel to improve performance in the gym. So you can still fuel muscle protein synthesis, you can still fuel, growth. So what you'll find is the weight will stabilize, but body composition will change anyway. And as you do that more and more, yes, as performance goes up further, muscle mass goes up further, you'll start to see that body weight come down, but you can get away with it for quite a long while, especially in an untrained individual or somebody that hasn't got a very long training age.
What is your lifestyle of a client, boys? Just so we know, because if you're looking at sustainability of fat loss, it's hard to go, hey, client, I'm working with you for 2 months. That's not going to show sustainability, is there? You need to be working with someone, I'd say, for a good duration of time. A lot of my clientele would be at least 6 months or above, so you can actually find a phase of what is sustainable after that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, 6 months is like bare minimum, really. But if you're looking for sustained weight loss and then to educate to a point where they can maintain that weight loss sort of post-dieting phase, bring them back into a maintenance phase, get them to understand, okay, well, if you need to then increase calories, we can do that here, we can do, less calories here, and then educate them to a point where they feel comfortable, where they don't need you anymore. That's the way that I coach anyway.
Yeah, totally, I do. Yeah, like, I'm quite lucky because a lot of mine will go to Sustainable Body, then we'll go photo shoot client, and they go back to Sustainable Body, and they might go, actually, want to do a photo shoot again because I want better than last before. Yeah. We're 2.5 years in. Like, we've moved maintenance from there to there now. And, like, you now understand that their cutting phase used to be, let's go 1,700 calories. Now, the cutting phase is 2,000 calories. So they're at a great place to be in. So I think that's effective deficit sustainability by shifting those parameters as you're working with that client as well.
Yeah.
So it's not a money-making scheme going, hey, guys, you need to stay longer. It's an educational point by going, hey, at the end of this, you'll be in a better place. You'll be dieting in such higher calories, and you'll be effective in everything you're doing.
Yeah. I always aim to bring people in on as high a calorie amount as possible. And then if we really need to, then we can drop the hammer for short spells and then bring that back up.
Yeah, totally.
I think even like at the start, I think when I do deficit people on, most of my deficits are like 10%, which is nothing. Like, and then if you want to do a more drastic deficit, it'll be 25%. And again, it's not a whole lot, but you pair that with training performance poor performance, focus on sleep quality, food quality, better health metrics all overall, you're onto a winning formula.
But also, I think it's a come from a yo-yo dieting culture, and we don't actually know where that shift baseline is. You've got to be able to build those calories up a little bit to help them understand that we can't be down here, we can't be at that lower rate.
I think with that as well, people don't understand that you don't have to be in a diet phase or the fuck it phase, as people would call it. Like, it's like, it literally is for some people that you're either on or off. They don't understand that you can just maintain. It's like, well, the diet's out the window now, I'm done.
Rather than a switch, it needs to be more of like a dimmer.
Definitely.
Up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
I also think on that point, but it's like I follow like phase in education as well, like what education we need to be giving them along the way, because I don't want a client to leave me if I haven't given them as much education as I can, but also it can't be all thrown at the start. So like we use a little bit in our onboarding that don't jump too far into it. Just don't do everything all at once, because you won't have a clue what you're doing. So just like gradually building this education into the program is quite important too.
You also won't know what's working. If you do everything at once, you have no idea what works.
Yeah.
And I know, Dave, you're a little bit different on this, because I know a lot, we spoke about this on a text, but a lot of your clientele are more male-based in terms of your like genre, like probably a lot of mine are more female-based. And I have to take into consideration like menstrual cycle and like where they're sat and where we need to increase calories due to certain phases, or increase fat values, or increase carb values, and like if you look at my library, I've got books on everything female based. Like you think, I don't know, there's something wrong with it. But my education had to be so vast in that, because it was so naive for me not to understand that and understand the client kind of where they're sat in menstrual cycle and what we need to do on diet phases, on bulking phases too. So I think that has to come consideration too, really.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've trained, like my demographic now has moved more into men, and sort of, just through my own training experience as well. That's what sort of gravitates towards me. But I do have female clients as well, and understanding the mindset of a woman that doesn't quite understand her own menstrual cycle whilst in a dieting phase, and being able to educate on that as a man is really difficult, isn't it?
Oh, so what? If they're having a menstrual cycle, that's one thing, because you know many people when they go through photo shoots, they drop out of menstrual cycle for a long time, and I've had girls out of menstrual cycles for 2 years, which has been crazy. But then when you got more understanding, education behind it, you actually coach them through that. Was there a podcast the other day on this with Steve Bartlett? Even one on understanding the menstrual cycle with, I forgot who the lady was now, a little bit deep it was. It went into like fasting on menstrual cycle and so forth, which was quite cool. But I think that's quite a powerful tool, really, if you are working with females, like having that knowledge and understanding to support a client who, like you just said, Nate, doesn't understand their own menstrual cycle. Like, wow, like powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Question 2. Are there specific nutrient ratios or macronutrient ratios based on dietary approaches that can enhance fat loss while preserving muscle mass?
Yeah. I guess the most important one there is so the question is to preserve muscle mass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your most important macronutrient is going to be your protein. Making sure that's as high as it can possibly be within your range. And then the other two, you can I always think of them as like sliding scales a little bit. You might go higher carb one day, bring the fats down. Next day you might go lower carb, bring the fats up. And I often work it like that, depending on how my day's going, how I'm feeling. If you need a little bit more, fasted energy, I'll probably go higher carb. But for the most part, it's got to be protein. Protein's got to be as high as you can get it. I think we spoke about this the other day. It's like 2 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, or you just take your take your body weight, figure out what it is in pounds, and just eat that many grams.
Yeah, 1 gram per pound bare minimum. Like what some bodybuilders obviously holding a lot more skeletal muscle mass
Yeah,
will
there we go.
eat above that as well. Like anywhere up to like 2.4 grams per kilo, or up to 2.6 in extreme cases where they are probably on PEDs and supporting a hell of a lot of muscle tissue.
Yeah.
The turnover rate's just so high that they need to fuel it. But yeah, as a baseline, no less than 20% fats. If we're looking at good hormonal function for females, no less than 25. But then yeah, interchangeable. You can slide up and down. But I'd always have a baseline of 20 for men and then 25 for females, and then carbs can fluctuate.
We also speak about like bang for buck, like fats and carbs, like on your plate, how much bang for buck can you get fuel wise, like food wise. And I think a lot of clients will go, yeah, like I know I've coached my girlfriend Esther before, and she's been, I need fats. It's like, okay, cool, great, like we'll add fats into it. Like, no, I need energy now. It's like, okay, cool, let's lift up a little bit, but it's kind of how much taste you want in your food as well, isn't it? Like, in terms of like taking away the carbs or fats and how you want to mix it up sometimes.
Yeah, I think with that as well, I don't know about you, but I mean, now that I coach predominantly more men, I don't get as many of the guys shifting so much as in needs.
Okay.
So I think that's quite a female trait from a coaching perspective. More cravings, and again, it's around that hormonal shift and times through the cycle. But yeah, I don't find that guys tend to crave that much, unless they're really, really in the depths of a prep, and then you're just craving anyway. But that's a given. But yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, considering what we've just spoke about.
Yeah. If I could draw a line, if there's most of my clients, how they fluctuate between menstrual cycles or whether fats and carbs. Like I set up on their nutrition maybe 3 or 4 months into it, not the start, because I think at the start it's just a bit too much for them to start to understand. But as we go through it, start to understand kind of where they are at the cycle, what they might need to increase, and then I give them 3 styles of nutrition in terms of macro splits and go, right, okay, let's just fluctuate between it. That means that they've got to have the premium on MyFitnessPal to be able to do that and shift their data around a little bit. But yeah, it's quite powerful. But I think with protein, like you said, boys, I think most of mine, I'd say 2.2 to 2, based on where they're at. But again, is that based on that training level, based on muscle mass as well? We can work around those numbers with those levels.
Yeah, I think as well, like your protein's always going to stay stable, and your baseline fat level is going to stay stable. But when you look at carb to fat ratio, there's a lot that can change with body composition and water retention, as well as fatigue as well. So you can change the way that you look quite drastically just by manipulating those quite well, a hell of a lot, as well as a little bit of water manipulation. So
especially on prep.
Yeah. But again, even flushing, if you're feeling a little bit bloated, you can pull carbs, increase fats, and just flush a little bit of the water out. And
manipulation, isn't it? Manipulation.
Yeah.
Quite a cool one coming in here. So, what are some practical tips and strategies for managing cravings and maintaining consistency during nutrition and fat loss phase? Little tips and tricks.
I'm a big, like, if I'm on a fat loss phase, I love things like fizzy water with like diluting juice and stuff, just the gassy stuff to fill you up. And it's it's a little bit sweet, a little bit nice. That's a plus. That's a tip I can give you just to sit in front of me.
For me, I mean, yeah, don't demonize foods that are low calorie, but just a better option, like Coke Zeros. You still getting to have a fizzy drink. Again, the gassiness will fill you up, make you feel a little bit fuller, but you're still getting a taste of having a Coke, aren't you? And a lot of people just cut fucking everything out
Yeah.
and then just go, oh, I'm going to lose my head, I can't have anything.
I also think, do you ever find like seasonal depending has an effect on fat loss? Being like winter is quite a challenging time to go through a fat loss, especially through a cut, where you flip it over in summer. I find there's less opportunities to want to deviate somewhat as well. So, but it's like you see all these like swaps and changes and so forth. Like sometimes I go like, just add it in. Just add in what you want to add in and just manipulate around your day then if you want to manipulate around your day. Work it better.
Yeah, I think, but again, it's like we said before, like that 80-20 principle, 80-20 rule, 20% of what you want within your calorie allowance and your macros, and then 80% of what you need.
Yeah.
And then you've always got a balance then, and you're not just trying to just make everything fit all nice and clean and, waiting for the weekend to have a little bit of a cheat.
Have you got any foods though that you go, and I know I probably do with some of my photoshoot clients, you got any foods that you go, I know this will fill you up for longer, more bang for buck in that nutrient dense food choice. Like let's go a butternut squash, like eating a full one of those being like 90 calories compared to eating, I don't know, a full jacket potato, if that makes sense.
So,
you guys should read the post by Adam where there's controversial views on 80-20 concept. That's my Esther. I am prepped for this either. I don't even know what you're on about, so.
So we'll all go off and then next week we'll come back on talk.
That's nice bedtime chat. Like, what's it about? Let's get the phone out.
Food wise, I mean, yeah. To be fair, I don't tend to deviate too much from what I would regularly eat. I'll just change the portion sizes. I don't really, unless I'm in like a proper fat loss cutting phase and I'm real strict and I'll just eat to a meal plan. That's just the way that I'm built. If it's in front of me, I will eat it. That's fine. But if I'm being more flexible, I will just eat the things that I would normally eat in just different proportions. That's it. Chuck a side salad on pretty much everything, just for a bit more volume. And then still enjoy the foods that I enjoy eating, just a little bit less of it.
Can I go controversial? Would you have a prepped salad or would you make it yourself? I'm going with something like this.
Oh, fuck that. I always make it myself.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I'm the opposite. I can't be arsed just cutting it up and making it. Like, I'd rather just go right box out, done, eat.
Yeah, I'm probably with Danny on that one.
Yeah, no, I just make it.
Ah.
The thing is, I enjoy cooking.
Okay.
I'm the chef in the house. Leanne won't let me saying that, but she makes a mean lasagna, but I'm the chef of the house.
Just going to see a shoe coming flying towards him in a minute.
She's in Sheffield at the minute, it's alright. It's the reason I've said it.
That's why he's feeling brave.
Once he picks up from the train station, and I was like, not getting in, got Uber.
Wait, she's going to write a comment now.
I watched you live the other day.
I do think that probably my practical tips or strategies will be implementing back-off weeks or refeed days into their diet, just to ensure that like they don't feel like they're constantly dieting.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that's quite a dangerous way to constantly go that way. And clients who also go, no, I don't fancy doing that. I think I'll break. No, I think you'll break later on by doing it. So let's just build it in now and just feel confident by doing that. I think they feel they're going to slip back into their ways if you had a diet break in or if you had a refeed. Even just a refeed meal, they think it's like a refeed day. I can eat anything. Just increase that volume on that night. Have some chips, like steak if you want, or whatever it's like.
Yeah. With my sort of more Gen Pop clients, I've said, right, go and have an hour tonight, do what you want. Final meal, go and do what you want. You can't put away a lot of food in an hour when you've been in a dieting phase anyway. And once that time limit's done, you might have had your main and a dessert, and that's it. You've maybe had an extra 500, 600, 700 calories. You're going to be all right.
And most of the time, not really enjoy it. Even it's okay, but
Yeah.
like I'd rather go back to where I was.
Yeah, and then you feel a bit, I feel sick, feel a bit shit.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again.
Totally. So I think the strategy there is not following a constant diet. I think that's
No.
a dangerous way to go about it. Listen, I've seen that before. I've had clients come to me before who've been on crazy diets, on crazy low calories, crazy high cardio. You've gone, oh, wow. Like, and they think the systems you're starting with are crazy themselves because they've just been used to this duration of what you need to do and how you go about it. And I think we still see that now, really. So I think we still see that from we're not coaches because that's their philosophy maybe. But I think in the same breath, if we're looking at the topic of sustainability, there's got to be some strategy in there to be able to enable them to carry on with it. If not, it's going to break, aren't they, I think?
More definitely isn't more when it comes to dieting. So a bigger calorie deficit and more work isn't going to get you there quicker. It's just going to make you break faster. But
I've got to say, my clients, my photo shoot clients, it's the same. Like, what else can I do? It's okay, just do what you're doing.
it's just time.
Can I cut my calories? No, do not cut your calories at all. It's got a long time for that to happen.
Yeah,
It's like,
just give it time.
yeah, very much so. And I think we all, it's like Amazon, isn't it? We all want it like yesterday, and we think we should have it yesterday. And I think it is taking that time to lose it. And some people lose it faster than others, and that's fine. That's okay. But it's persistence, isn't it? Persistence is the key, I think, along the same time as well.
Yeah. I think sometimes when I have clients get to a point where either the weight holds or they're starting to get a little bit edgy like that, I'll introduce a calorie cycle. So their overall calories haven't changed, maybe slightly, where they feel like, oh, I need to drop. It might drop 50 calories over the week.
Yeah.
However, the lowest to the highest calorie intake drastically jumps, so they feel like they're getting a refeed, but they're also going deeper on other days as well. So that's another good one, and it can help people just stay on track. They can feel like they're doing a lot of work, but they're also being rewarded for it, whilst not having a big splurge on calories.
Yeah, it's a great one. I did that the other day with one of my clients, and you have to educate someone while you're doing it for, don't you, to understand like, the difference between discrepancy behind it. But once you understand that, I think it's a great way. It's also a great way to build someone into dieting from maintenance, isn't it? Maintenance and having 2 days of deficit and building that way and building it through. I think that's a cool way.
A slow diet.
Yeah.
I quite like something I use pretty much all the time is 3 low, 1 high, 3 low, 1 high, and it's something I've always kind of really used. And it's good because say you're on day 2 of the low, you're like, I want to go one more day. I want to go one more day. Here we go. Day 3, right? I want to go to finish the day. Tomorrow morning, I'm already planning out my breakfast. I'm going to have 14 boxes of Weetabix. I'm going to have 9.
How low's your low, Jace?
100 calories, is that all right?
You get to lick an apple and just drink water.
My low days is just a bag of lettuce. That's all it is.
I saw someone post that today on social media. I forgot who it was now. It was this lady, and she was on the scale. She went, I've lost a stone in 7 days. And she went, this is my breakfast. And she was sucking her sweets. And she went, this is my meal of the day. I'm like, fucking hell. Like, that's okay? Like, you think that's okay? And it was man, they said, like, I've never seen anyone lose that amount of weight in that period of time. But also, you look at the topic of sustainability, that's not going to happen one single bit. But there's a lot of crazy out there. There's a lot of crazy stuff that we can turn to create a deficit if you want to look that way.
But again, that stone, if you think about it, that is not fat loss. That is sheer weight loss. That's water, a little bit of fat, probably a lot of muscle.
Probably your kidneys.
Yeah.
And your soul.
Yeah.
Soul as well.
Your soul.
Was it the same sweet she was licking for the whole week, or just?
That'll do for today.
No,
it's incredible, but it's just amazing what you see out there, isn't it? It really, really is.
I know the Andrew Tate. Oh my God, shit, we're gonna get cancelled. I know that guy was. He was a big fan of OMAD, so 1 meal a day. That was it. He would just basically live on caffeine, nicotine, and 1 meal a day.
Wow. We're just down to one viewer now because you just
Yeah. Cheers, Jace.
It's just him.
Yeah, 1 meal a day, I'd just be a horrible human being. Leanne has to tell me to go and eat sometimes if it's been too long. Like,
You are literally the Snickers advert.
yeah, literally, just
Have you eaten today? No, go and eat.
go and eat. Literally, that is literally how it is. It's like, you're getting a bit naughty, go and eat.
You feeling better? Much better.
Much better. Yeah. Come back in like, ee.
All happy and giddy.
Of course. But they were the three main questions. And you know what? We've done it in half an hour. And that was what we set out to do.
Bosh.
And there's no signal gone.
And we'll get the dog back.
Get the dog back, yeah.
No, that's my seat. Get your own seat. Get your own seat. That's my seat. Get your own seat. Get it. No. Here you go. Here's your nutrition.
That's it. The Poochies can do the sign off tonight.
Better me. Rexy boy.
I feel like letting you down here, Nathan. You've got one on your side.
You've got two, it's alright.
He's got his plan.
That's it. I've had to move one of them because it's just overgrown the office.
I've seen one of your little plants. I've got the same one. Little small cactus style one you've got at the side of your computer.
It's not small anymore, mate.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Flowering.
Oh wow.
Lives matter, boys.
And I haven't noticed that. I haven't been stalking you. I've been like looking through your window going, you don't know what I know.
Hey.
Is this what it's came to? We're now comparing plant sizes.
Oh.
So we said nutrition today. Next week is going to be lifestyle.
Yeah.
Some great questions on the lifestyle.
Sleep,
one,
stress, all of the above.
Which is class. And then we go with
Training. After that.
training in week 3. I've got, as well, it's not a plug here at all, but for the females out there, a downloadable menstrual cycle support PDF, which if anyone wants it, they can have. It's on my bio. I will not email you after and ping you with loads of shit. That might just help people just understand that phase of dieting if they do want that. I think it's quite good.
No, good. Awesome.
I'll have to give you boys so you can replicate if you want it and
Yeah, sound. We'll grab it. Yeah, good. So next week, same time, and then lifestyle next week.
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
I think we should do it in bed.
With a blanket on.
Face mask, everything else.
No, better not. They have to be like, my bed's bigger than your bed.
What's that fuck you got down there? Is that a plan?
You know.
You only sleep with one pillow, you psychopath.
Oh, see, that is an interesting question though. How many pillows do you sleep with?
At least 20.
Oh, fucking hell,
I
no,
like to
one.
create a little fort around my body. I'd like to be the worst person to be sleeping next to you. Just go, pillows everywhere.
Literally one pillow.
I actually really like those pregnancy pillows. Get them off of me.
Maybe next week, Jake, if you bring about the, we spoke about it a long time ago, the steps before 9, because that might help with
Yeah.
understanding lifestyle as well, mightn't it?
Yeah.
I've got, just to show that, I've got a client, I don't know if he's still here now, Russ, who he started a month ago, so when we started these calls, I got him doing that. He does not train at all. He's not confident to go to the gym yet. Nutrition has been just dialed up a little bit more. He's lost nearly 2 stone by just getting up in the morning and moving. And he texts me by 8 a.m. and he's done 5,000 to 6,000 steps every single day. This morning he texted me and said, listen, Danny, it's raining. What do we do? Like, still get out, dude. Like, the buy a coat, get out and move. He did it in the morning,
jacket.
and then because it felt so good, he did it in the evening as well. And you know what? Like, for someone to do 2,000 steps in their life only per day to go to doing 6,000 by 8 and 9 a.m.
Awesome.
What a game changer. Game changer.
Awesome.
That's why I'm all over the 5x9. But I'm also now adding in a double 5x9. So 5x9 in the morning, and then 5x9 at night.
Love it.
Double it.
Love it. Love
Double
it.
it.
Nice.
My second dog's back now, so I'm going to get absolutely jumped all over. I think it's a good time to call it.
I think so.
Amazing. Again, we're getting better at this 30-minute mark.
I
Anyway.
know, yeah. Smashed it. 35. Job's a
Right,
good one.
send us off.
I thought the dog was going to send us off.
I think I have to send him off.
No, go on. So, cheers, guys, for joining us. If you've watched this live, go and give all the boys a follow. If you're watching it on catch up, go on catch up. Looking out, sounding good there, aren't we? Like we've got our own fucking Netflix. If you're watching this on catch up, give us all a follow anyway, and drop some comments in the comments below. And then if you've got any questions for next week, we're going to cover in lifestyle. Drop any of the boys a DM or react to one of the story posts that we'll be putting up in the week leading up to it. And yeah, we'll see you next week for lifestyle.
Hell yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Out.
See you next week, boys.
Bye, boys.